Hi, Robin with Oxy-Dry. Oh, and there's my van. Here we are. It's a Saturday, and I'm doing a commercial job again. And I'm actually just about just a few blocks away from my house. It's actually behind me. I'm facing north toward the airport, which is just a little bit further in this direction. We actually live right on the very outskirts of the city boundary, I guess. So this is actually past the city boundary into where I'm at right now. The university is actually, the main campus is actually just over that hill over there. Yeah. So I'm doing a commercial job today. I'm not doing the LVP. I'm doing these offices of this. This is a company that does, I think they make controls for buildings actually, or they install them and service them. I'm on the second floor. I've already done the bottom floor, and it was basically consisting of little offices like this everywhere. I did about 7 or 8 offices downstairs and a big boardroom. And I've cleaned this carpet before. A couple of years ago, I think I was here, but I only cleaned the upstairs area, so there's something really nasty going on here. I think they might have had a water spill there, and that's wicking up. This is carpet tile, and so it'll be very, very thin. It's actually very similar to the carpet in that big building that I've been posting about, where I've had to basically do a restoration clean. So it could be the same carpet, and I think it's only a couple of years old, and already, look at this. Now that's partly soiling, but it's also a lot of what you're seeing here is the damage from the wheels of these chairs. There's 5 wheels, and well, mind you, they're multiplied, I guess, because they're double wheels, but nevertheless, there's a lot of weight that's concentrated on the contact of the wheels on the carpet, and then that's crushing down the yarn, and then every time the person who's sitting on it moves, the wheels are gonna, they're gonna do a pivoty thing all the time, and that there'll be this grinding, twisting, pressing. So over time, that will absolutely cause damage to the carpet fiber, and it will grind and dull and scuff the yarn. And even if it's perfectly clean, it will look a little dingy because light's not going to reflect off the damaged fibers and the scuffed and dulled fibers. So you'll never get that perfect again. Can't be done. So this one has the most obvious stains. Looks like they spilled something there. Anyway, so let's go to work. Okay, now here I am with my Centaur Rabbit, and I'm just going to talk about a few things about this machine. This is an older one. I bought 2 of them about a year ago, actually. And if you go back to my playlist, you'll find where I talk about these machines when I got them, and they look terrible. Usual janitor machine. This one is 21 years old, and when I cleaned it all off of the wax and just dirt and grime that was all over it, I discovered that voila, it basically looks brand new, and it runs like brand new, because this machine, which is 21 years old, well, this is how long they last. And one of the reasons is because of the quality of this machine. Now, we take a look at a standard average rotary machine, and they're usually made the same way. In fact, if you take a look, you'll notice that most rotaries have the same handle on them. because obviously they're buying the handle from a company that's just making these handles. And there's like a sleeve that fits down at the top. Usually, often there's a safety that's right here, and sometimes it's another place. But it's basically the same thing. If you pull that sleeve off, you see where the handle attaches. The handle just comes up, and then where the bar goes across, it's usually spot welded, like 4 little spot welds, and they will break. And I know they will break because, well, my friend Roger, he had, or maybe he still has, a Hawk rotary, and there's nothing wrong with their Hawk rotary. They're like, it's a standard machine basically, but the weld started cracking because when you're moving it around, you're constantly flexing the handle and everything. He had to get it welded a couple of times, and in the end, I think he retired that machine because there was other issues. And then where the handle, there's like a brace that goes down to the axles, and that there's flexing and whatever that happens there. I'm hearing things here, but wear points. I had another rotary I'd picked up, and it was there's on some of them there's like a reinforcing bar that goes down here, and it pivots as the handle goes back and forth, and then it wears in here. This doesn't happen on this particular machine because of the way it's made. You notice that the whole bottom plate, the whole frame of this machine is actually cast aluminum, whereas most rotaries, they're just a pressed steel, and it wears out, the actual bottom plate. I had a NSS, which was basically the same thing as the Hawk, just a slightly different design, because that's what they do. I think a lot of the machines come out of either the same factory or places where they're basically maybe they're making these machines under license. I'm not sure, but they're mostly the same idea of the machines. But over time, the bell housing, it's just pressed steel, and the paint just chips off, and then they start rusting, and they will rust very significantly. This machine will never rust. There's nothing to rust on it. It's all cast aluminum. This is powder coated. The only place where I have paint removed is on the back, where it must have been banged up against something and it chipped it off the back of it, but nowhere else is there paint peeling, or there's no rusting. It just doesn't happen. And the motor cover here, that's very solid. It's a plastic, but it's not a thin plastic. It's really heavy. I think it's like it's almost it's not a 1/4 inch thick, but it's it's at least 1/8, maybe 3/16, maybe a bit more than that. I don't know. And then the other thing is that the handle tube, I'm not sure if this is, I think this is stainless steel. I'm not positive if it is or not, but there's no rust on it. And every rotary I've ever had that I've had for a few years, they inevitably get rust on the handle tube. I've never seen that happen on this. On these machines, this one's 21 years old. My other one is 7 years old. It looks perfect as well. This is an older one, so it has the handle release at the bottom, whereas my newer one has the handle release up on the top here. It's exactly the same design, and the thing is that this is again a cast aluminum piece that pinches on the tube, and one of the reasons that it'll outlast the type where you actually twist a little arm is that where that arm is twisting, it's like an offset, I don't know, like a cam, and that cam wears on the end. And I've had my old NSS, I had to replace that pinch mechanism anyway, at least once. And then where the clamp goes around the tube, it's usually a pressed steel thing where it's not actually all solid. It's just like two edges, and that wears and starts to pinch on the tube. And I've seen Roger's got one of his machines, which was an older one as well. The tube actually got crushed, and it was just causing all kinds of problems. And then I had another one, and what was that one? That was I just had it not that long ago. The yellow one I had, was that an NSS? It was yellow, wasn't it? And there's a sleeve that goes down the back side of the pinch mechanism, and it's just a thin metal sleeve, and it's very critical to the ability of this thing to pinch but then to release. And it was literally it was like a 1/16 of an inch thick, and it was like pop can thin. and it was literally wearing through. Bad design, but I mean, it works for a while, and then you're done with it. It's just these machines, literally, they begin to fall apart. And here's this machine, 21 years old, still looks like new, basically, and there's nothing to wear out. Really, the wear points would be this device here, but because it's the way it's a twisting mechanism, and it's really heavy bolt in there. I actually had that thing apart the other day, and I just greased the threads and put it back together, because I wanted it to. I just wanted to make sure it was working fine and everything, and it was working beautiful. So you just release that, and it just this is all solid cast aluminum, so just built well, really built well. Very impressive the way they build these machines. And of course, it has the bell housing that drops off, and I'm running it without the bell housing right now. And although they come with normal, 5 or 6 inch wheels, obviously I've modified mine with these 10-inch wheels, which is a great upgrade. And I believe that Centaur is about to introduce a wheel kit for these machines, because I've been working with these guys a little bit, and they're a sponsor or supporter of the SETT program, and we agreed that this was a good idea to have this as an option available for the Centaur machines, because if you're using this machine for residential work, you want to be able to go up and down steps easily, so that's a great option to have. So yeah, and then the other thing is that when they get the motors for these machines, they order them from a motor manufacturer that specifically makes these motors. When they get them, they open the motor up and they balance the motor, and boy, this thing is just like so smooth, very smooth machine. And then they recoat. They put an extra coat of epoxy or varathane or whatever it is they put on the windings of the motor to ensure that the motor basically is going to last forever. It just, the quality that they put into these machines is second to none. That's not to say that an average rotary out there isn't a good machine, because they are. Most of them last for years anyway, but they're not going to last like this. And the other advantage, of course, this machine has the 2 speeds. It also has something unique, and that's the way it turns on. I don't know if I've ever showed this before. There's the safety right there. Then you go, that's it. There's no arm that you grab and pull. And I didn't realize just what a difference that makes. I remember years ago when I was using my NSS machine in particular, I can remember that I would have to hold on to that lever all the time. And I remember my hand cramping up. I don't find that happens with this machine. I can actually hold it pretty loosely. There's no, I'm not grabbing a lever and pulling it all the time. So there's lots of reasons why these machines are a step above the average rotary. There's nothing wrong with these other rotaries. I'm not saying that you shouldn't buy one. One of the better entry-level machines out there to get if you're going to go with a rotary certainly would be the Swirly, and it's made by Hawk. And a lot of guys use them, and they like them because they're a good machine. They're not as good as this, but then you're going to spend more money to buy one of these. But then you're getting a 2-speed machine with some features that others don't have. It's also got a 1.5 horsepower motor, and weighs about, I think it's about 75 pounds, this machine. So it's the right weight, especially if you're going to be using it for residential work. The stupid boot tray here is interfering with my stepping out of here. Hey, here we go. Okay. I've used many rotaries over the years, by the way. Boy, the first one I had was a Clark, my little FM13. Yep, that's what I started with. I had a General. That's a good machine. A really well-made machine. It had a lot of the features like this does, which is was a cast aluminum base, which I thought was really cool. It was a 15-inch. Had interesting the way the wheels worked on that one. They flipped down, or flipped up out of the way when you're using it. Flipped down for transporting. What else was it? Oh, it had a turning knob like that, which is a better way. I know a lot of guys like the lever because they can just flip it up and down with their foot. I get that. But it's a wear point. And this machine here, the newer version of it, this is an old one. This is 21 years old. My other machine, which is 7 years old, has the handle release right here, so it's very convenient. I don't actually mind this. It only becomes more, I guess, concern or whatever in a residential setting if you're raising and lowering it a lot. But for most of the time, it's really not a big deal. I don't think. You should be able to bend, or maybe you shouldn't be doing it. If you can't bend, maybe it's time to retire. Now, I can't say anything about the tank because you can put many different tanks on these machines. This one actually has a mighty tank on. This is I think they call this the Blue Wave. It's a very good tank. I like it. But I certainly would recommend it, although they're not cheap. But the tank that you would normally get with the Centaur, which is the one that's on my other Centaur, it's a fine tank. There's nothing wrong with it. Now, I did vacuum everything. I brought my protein in. Use that because it works good on this type of carpet, because it doesn't have it's actually designed for commercial carpet, the protein. It's not really designed for residential work because of the design of the head, which has slots on the front of it to work better on a commercial grade carpet, and it's got a floating head rather than a adjustable height on it, which is fine for this type of carpet. But there were some spots there. You can see they've come off. Yeah, you can see the wear right here, but it's cleaning up. I'm using the Astro pad. I prefer to use it for commercial work now. I think it's a great pad for this type of carpet. Gives you the scrubbing ability and the extraction at the same time. Oh, the other thing is, the reason why you can hear the motor run on these things, the whining sound, is it's a DC motor, so it has carbon brushes in it. It has four carbon brush points on these motors. And the carbon brushes do eventually wear down, but I think they last like something like 10,000 hours or something ridiculous like that. But there's a light on the top of the motor there that when the brushes get down, it'll light up. And the brushes are very easy to replace and very inexpensive. But what's interesting, here's an interesting little bit of information about the DC motors. That building that I do is a good example of it, where I've shown it a few times where I restored the carpet. There's one section of the building where when I first time I cleaned it, I used my MD180, which is a capacitor motor. So that's one reason why it's so very quiet, the belt drive machine. It's also low speed. One section of the building, when I plug the machine in and go to turn it on, the capacitors would fire off going click, 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 click. I couldn't get the motor to spin because it was just not a good power source. But when I go in there with my 2-speed machine, and I did it with my Hawk the next time, and I've done it with this machine 2 times now, I guess, no problem at all. It just draws the power a little differently. Whereas with the machines with the capacitor, that initial startup is draws a lot of power. This has what they call the soft start, so I guess I don't even know exactly how that works, but the idea is that the motor doesn't pull full power instantly, which is supposed to be easier on the drivetrain, I guess. I don't know how that works. I guess maybe there's something in the electricals, I guess. I don't know. I should get them to explain that to me one day. Now I'm cleaning this with the Encap Hero, which is the Cosway supply product from Ontario. So this product seems to clean really well. I've been using it in the last few commercial jobs that I've done. You can see that this really worn area here is coming up nicely. Stains are coming out. This carpet is really getting beat on though. Now we got a nasty stain here. I have no idea what this is. It's some sort of looks like a spill of some sort. Just let that machine really give a good scrubbing there. That's what it needs. It's coming out, but it's taking a little bit of effort there. Could be a color added stain there. Alrighty, but I think we're getting it out of there. This is actually in a steam product I have in here, and this is their upholstery pre-spray. And sometimes I use it to go over an area that's a little bit stubborn, and there we go. Esteem is a Canadian company for you Canadian guys. Oh, I was going to mention something interesting, by the way. I just found this out yesterday. Big news. There's an Aramco company that is the supplier for carpet cleaners in my town, and it's Safety Express. And a few months ago, actually just before Christmas, their repair tech suddenly quit, and they haven't had a repair tech for a while. But they were bringing a guy in, I think from Vancouver, to deal with some of the stuff that needed to be repaired. But then, but they hadn't replaced him yet. And then about 3 months ago, the place right next door to them, there was a fire in there, and they got some smoke damage and whatever. So they've closed down, and they haven't opened up yet again. Now we can order stuff from them out of the Vancouver office, and apparently they are planning to open up again, although 3 months is a very long time. But anyway, yesterday I'm driving home, and I hear a car honking its horn, and there's a vehicle right beside me, and the guy's waving at me, and I open the window, and it's the guy that was the repair tech at Safety Express. And hey, how you doing? Yeah, what you doing? And he says, well, he's not working any right now. And I said, oh, are you coming back? And he says, nope, because he had some sort of a health issue. He says, but I got that straightened out, but no, I'm not going back. And so then he said, you know, they've been closed for 3 months. And okay. It doesn't really bother or concern me much, because I buy virtually nothing from them anyway. But anyway, and then I said something about the repairs or whatever, and he said, oh, they don't plan to have a repair guy there anymore. And I was like, oh, really? Isn't that something? So in other words, we have no repair facility in the Okanagan Valley for truck mounts anymore. And that's a big deal, because we got guys, at least 3 or 4 guys in the last year or two, who have bought brand new truck mounts. And of course, I guess they require certain servicing in order to maintain their warranty. And other guys that have units that have been around for years, obviously. And of course, we all know they break. Some a lot. But there's nobody to repair them. In fact, the closest place to go would be Vancouver, which is like 4 or 5 hours drive away. So that's not a good thing for the truck mount guys. But that's, in my opinion, what I've been saying all along, that the SETT method is a better option. And one of the reasons is because the issues that you run into with the truck mounts, besides the fact the overhead is so high, the cost of buying them is ridiculous, and then the overhead to operate them, between the fuel and the wear and tear on the vehicle, the maintenance, and the ongoing repairs. You know, I just don't think it's a wise thing, but anyway, I just thought that was interesting and unfortunate, but that's not going to affect me, at least not in a negative way. Obviously, I buy virtually nothing from Safety Express anyway, because I buy most of my stuff other sources. I've been buying almost all my cleaning products for the last few years have been Bonnet Pro, and for the foreseeable future that will be my main cleaning product, at least for residential. So, and obviously as far as repairs go, well, I have virtually nothing to be concerned about for repairs, because I got a machine that, well, there's nothing to repair. I mean, even if the motor went on this thing, I can either order a motor straight from Centaur and it'll arrive within a few days, or take it to my local electric motor place and they could rewind it for, you know, $600 or $800 or whatever. I'd probably order a new motor though if it came to that, because I know that the Centaur motor is going to be even better than if I had a rewind, because I know it's made specifically and for the machine, and is set up for this machine with that additional balancing, and then the secondary coat of what do they put? Not Varathane. Is that what they put on it, or I'm not sure what they put on the windings. But anyway, yeah, there's just nothing to fix. I mean, if I had an issue with the in here with the controls, I can replace those easy. I've already done that. I replaced. I had a short in my machine, thanks to my messing around in there. So that was an easy fix. There's just nothing to it. So this is cleaning up really well. There's wear. I can certainly see the wear on this carpet, but oh, it's cleaning up wonderful. And we continue on. You can see that's where, and is it dry? Is it lighten up and look wonderful? I know that. I've done this enough times to know that the thing is that when we clean this, particularly this type of carpet, I find that any of these areas that are worn like that, when you clean them initially, it will look kind of dark, but then as it dries within the next hour or two, it'll lighten right up and look wonderful. So you just have to, I've said this many times to my friend Roger. I said, you got to trust the process. It just does work. It does work. Anyway, I will continue on here. I know it's not too exciting what I'm doing, I guess, but it's just rinse and repeat, as it were. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more offices to go, and then I'm done. So yeah, I'm not trying to rush this job, just taking my time. It's a Saturday and this is the only job I have, so when I finish this, I'll go home and mow my lawn, I guess. yeah, I got more work to do there. So anyway, I'll let you go. So yeah, if you're, and by the way, if you're somebody that's unfamiliar with these particular machines, and you've heard or read people say that, yeah, it's not as good a machine as whatever. Here's my advice to you. Go to centaurmachines.com and look at their information they have there, so that you will be informed rather than just hearing what other people are saying who aren't actually necessarily giving you the whole picture. Don't follow people's advice without researching it for yourself. And if you're seriously considering buying one, I recommend that you call Centaur and talk to them. Ask them the questions. Ask them the hard questions. Ask them to tell you what makes this machine unique and better, because it is unique and it is better. But yeah, just don't take everybody's 2 cents worth without educating yourself. Be wise. All right, I'll let you go. Thank you for watching and have a good day.